Hello, lads. Next year is 2024, as you know, and it's another election year. Oh boy, oh boy, an election year, another presidential election. Aren't we all looking forward to that? I sure know I am. And guess what? This is the most important election ever. The most important election ever. Does that sound familiar? Because it's what they've been saying about the last 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 presidential elections. Every single one of them is the most important election ever, and if it doesn't go the way that you want it to go, then things are really going to be bad. There's not going to be any real. We're going to be just going in the wrong direction if the other guy wins, and it's going to be just about impossible to reverse the damage that will be done if the other guy wins. But if our guy wins, then it's things are really looking up. Things are really looking up if our guy wins. But if the other guy wins, it's going to be terrible, and it's going to be terrible forever until the next election. There's going to be a catastrophe if the other guy wins, but if your guy wins, then you're just not you're going to be winning and winning and winning. You're just never going to get tired of, you're actually going to get tired of winning because you're going to be winning so much. You know how it is. So for months and months and months, people will be tied up in knots, and everybody will be self-important and self-congratulatory and self-righteous, and they'll be, snapping at each other, and, they'll be the most divisive, you think every year you think it can't possibly get more divisive with every election. I remember thinking back in 2020, Bush v. Gore, 2020. Man, we can't get more divided than this. Our nation is so divided. This is like it can hardly get more extreme. The divisiveness can hardly get more extreme. The overall bad vibes, the hatred that the two camps, the red camp and the blue camp, have for one another, cannot burn with a greater intensity than now in 2020. I didn't know what I was talking about. 2020 was a picnic. It was a picnic compared to the elections that followed, especially the last couple. So yeah, that's nice. People who rev their engines in a parking deck. They're some of my favorite people in the world. So 2024 is just going to be a hell of a year. It's going to be a hell of an election year, and I'm sure looking forward to it. Actually, I'm looking forward to finding a way to distract myself from it, or to not pay attention to it. And I've actually got some possibilities on the table. One of them is just becoming a heroin addict. No, I've actually got some serious possibilities. But I think it is going to be an important thing just to stay away, to stay out of it, because it's going to be worse. It's going to be worse than it's ever been before, and it's every year you think it can't possibly be worse than this. It just goes on forever. That's the other thing. It starts earlier and earlier, and then it goes on forever and ever, month after month after month, and you're just thinking, oh my gosh, when is it going to be November the whatever? the first Tuesday in November, so this fucking so all this crap can just be done. We can be done with this. And it takes forever to get there. Forever. And there's meanwhile, there's another debate tonight. Another debate tonight. Better watch the debate. Oh, some interesting things are going to be said in that debate. First, it's all the Republicans having their debates, and then there's going to be the Democrats having their debates. Oh boy, another debate. Ooh, goody. Let me rub my hands together with glee. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And it just seems like November, the Tuesday in November is just never gonna come. Finally, it comes. And then guess what? They don't know who won. They're counting the votes. You wake up the next day, they're still counting the votes, and they don't know who's won yet. And it might take a few days. It might take a couple weeks. Who knows? And you're like, I thought it was going to end, but it's not over yet. And they can't tell me when it's going to be over. And then, if your guy wins, or if the other guy wins, or if one side or the other is declared the victor, then you still have to look out for now wait a minute, because there's got to be the electoral college. The electoral college is going to meet, and the electoral voters can be. They're not bound to vote any particular way. They could be turned. So a few electoral votes here, few electoral votes there, and suddenly the other guy. It's not the guy that you thought. It's the other guy, and the rug is pulled out from under you. If you thought your guy won, and if you thought your guy lost, and you're like, yeah, all right, a miracle. After we thought it was all over. That usually doesn't happen. In fact, I don't think that's ever happened, but it always lingers as a possibility, especially when things are close and highly contested and there are charges of fraud. And I think there will be fraud. Fraud will happen. But, so then there's also, there's lawsuits, right? So, you gotta look forward to those lawsuits being filed, and maybe even when the guy gets sworn in, they'll be like, oh yeah, well maybe he won't be the president in a couple weeks when the lawsuit goes to the Supreme Court, and they say, yeah, guess what, the election results in blah 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 are not valid, so let's get the new guy in, and the chaos will continue, possibly, or at least the specter of that possibility will be lingering. So it's sheer hell. It's awful. And I hope that I'm not being hyperbolic here when I say this. I hope that 2024 is the last election ever. I hope presidential elections, I hope they just stop happening. I hope that, in the aftermath of whatever takes place in the election, I hope that there's some kind of beer hall putsch or something, or some kind of undermining of the system, undermining of the democratic process, and we have some new Franco figure step up and rule, essentially by fiat, and we'll have a true identifiable dictatorship as opposed to the sort of the stealth dictatorship that we've been living under over the last few decades, where it's been, we think we have the power as the people. We think that when we vote, we're tricked. We're brainwashed into thinking that, oh, you're going to vote. Oh, wow, that's you're using your power there. You're really flexing your muscles as a citizen when you vote, and your vote disappears you stick your vote into the slot, or however it works. And you get your little receipt. It's like, yeah, I voted, man. I made a difference. Sure you did. Like, even if these elections are non-fraudulent, even if every vote is actually being counted, you are not making a difference in a presidential election. You are not. If it's really close in your state, and it's like, oh boy, candidate A won by only 550 votes over candidate B. Well, you know what? If your candidate won by 550 votes, without you, oh wow, your candidate would have only won by 549 votes. Wow, you really made a difference there. It was a really close election. That's how much your vote would have changed things. Not at all. And if your guy had lost by, let's say, 324 votes, you're like, oh man, it was so close. And I voted. And if I hadn't voted, then my guy would have lost only by 323 votes instead of, or that my guy would have lost by 325 votes. Sorry, got mixed up there. Instead of 324. Boy, I really made a dent there in that vote total, in that differential. I really, asserted my strength as a voting citizen. Vote, 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 vote. Vote like your life depends on it. Vote or die. I mean, I'm really not being. This is a bit of a rant, I know. But you take what I'm saying here to a certain extent with a grain of salt, except that everything I'm saying here is absolutely truthful. So don't take it with a grain of salt. Even though I'm ranting, everything I've said has been absolutely true, provably true. I'm not. I would not at all mind if we had a contested election and then we had some figure like Franco, after the election in Spain, whatever year that was, where the left-wing parties won, but the certain conservative elements in the country said, nah, we're not going to do that. And and Franco said, I'll lead an insurrection against the leftist government, and he got a lot of factions behind him, and there was a civil war which was kind of bloody. I'd kind of like to avoid that, but if we could just have some Franco-esque sort of character come on the scene and say, guess what? No more voting. I'm the military dictator. Because this is a banana republic. Without the bananas, let's face it, America is no better than Honduras. It's no less corrupt than Guatemala. It's no more. There's no more reason for pride in our electoral process than there is for El Salvador. or Costa Rica or Colombia or some other banana republic country. There's no more reason to be to feel that justice is prevailing here, and that corruption is being kept down because we're ruled by good people who want fairness and justice to prevail. Maybe the way to make fairness and justice prevail is just to get some fucking Franco, some Neo Franco, who's gonna just come along and say, nope, I'm in charge now, and no more elections. Bye-bye elections. We're not gonna miss you. We're not gonna miss you. You can just go away now. No more elections. That's what I hope. That's my hope for 2024. So we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching.